6:50 this Wednesday in our Sunrise Smart Start. The TSA says in a few months, if you don't have a real ID, it could cost you a lot more than just extra time at the airport.
Nearly 2 weeks ago, the agency announced a new $18 screening fee for travelers who do not have the upgraded license. But come February, that will go up to nearly $50. The real ID requirement to fly out of any U.S. airport has been in effect for 7 months. Since its rollout, the TSA says more than 94% of passengers use their real ID or another acceptable form of identification to fly. But for the roughly 6% who don't, they can expect to pay $45 to undergo additional verification starting February 1st.
That seems quite a substantial, like even if they just did 20 bucks, you forgot you don't have your ID, you're paying 20. It may be an option if someone forgot to get their ID, at least they can get through and you can pay the money.
I just feel like maybe we should have like some kind of like DMV thing at the airport. If you're going to charge $45, you might as well have that set up here so they can get the real ID here.
A TSA spokesperson says this price will ensure the cost for the verification process comes from the traveler and not taxpayers. In New York, there is no added cost to get a real ID aside from normal transaction fees.
A big debate happening among parents and neighbors in the Brighton school district as some push back against a plan to replace the high school's natural grass field with turf.
What will we tell them in the decades to come when they no longer play sports and they didn't become professional athletes, but they're dealing with the side effects from the plastic playing fields we provided for them?
You see some of those, hearing from some of them at the meeting last night, debating safety, environmental impacts, and a newly revealed stormwater pond that many say they didn't even know was there.
And we're not arguing about the safety, or I'm not, of turf. I know that's a debate that reasonable minds can differ on. But what we are concerned about is that 2 weeks ago at the meeting was the first time any of us in that neighborhood learned of the pond. That is drastically different than what we approved 2 years ago. And what we're asking for now is to repeat what other people have said tonight. We're asking for a new vote, because what I think you will find, you will not have the support of 87% that you keep quoting.
And already past the point, essentially, of changing. The project is, as the community voted for it. The community, again, 87% of the people who voted authorized that.
Heard from the superintendent there. District leaders say an environmental review found no significant impacts, and manufacturers claim forever chemicals, PFAS, are not intentionally added to the turf. They also emphasize a turf field would allow for more year-round community use, and there are no current plans for field lighting. Another community forum, if you want to go, is next Wednesday at 7 on Monroe Avenue at the district offices.
President Trump continues to stand by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth amid the growing controversy surrounding the role Hegseth played in a boat strike in the Caribbean in September.
The Washington Post over the weekend reported Hegseth gave a verbal order to kill everyone on board the vessel, and then Navy Admiral Frank Mitch Bradley apparently ordered the second strike to take out 2 survivors to comply with Hegseth's instructions. Now, Hegseth says while he watched the first strike September 2nd, he did not stick around to watch the second. On Capitol Hill, lawmakers from both parties have started investigations into the operation, which critics say could be a war crime.
I did not personally see survivors, but I stand because the thing was on fire. It was exploded in fire or smoke. You can't see anything. You got digital. This is called the fog of war.
Seems like he can't get his story straight.
I think there's a broad consensus that it's illegal to kill people who are clinging to wreckage.
Lawmakers in the Senate say they plan to meet with Bradley behind closed doors tomorrow.
The Department of Health says the flu is prevalent across the state. The most recent data shows more than 17,000 cases. Outside New York City, cases have gone up 114%. The health department urges everyone 6 months and older to get the flu shot. If you feel sick, stay home and wash your hands frequently.
The owners of Cecil's Wine and Whiskey on Park Avenue are closing their doors. They shared that news on social media, explaining they are unable to sustain the bar and restaurant financially. Cecil's just opened back in June.
Rochester's annual Giving Tuesday event, Rock the Day, is officially over, ringing in a grand total of $740,000 and counting. The annual 24-hour online fundraising event has generated more than $11 million in the past decade for over 600 nonprofit organizations in the area. There were nearly 6,000 donations for all of Tuesday.
A very special guest is making a trip to Rochester today to help with the big lighting of the City Hall Christmas tree. It was dropped off last week and then put up. That tree about 25 feet tall, decked out with more than 9,500 lights. The mayor will be there and Santa as well today, alongside performers with the School of the Arts Choir and Orchestra. That lighting is at 10:30, and then if you want to go check it out with the kiddos, the tree is on display inside the atrium throughout the rest of this year.
I want to check it out.
Yeah, nice. 9,000. The original estimate was about 7,000 lights, so they found some other strands. Nice. Sunrise traffic here at 6:55. Got one issue on the east side, Browncroft and Blossom, another one in Henrietta at Calkins Road and Hartwood Drive. So side streets might be a little icy there headed out this morning. Fluffy snow yesterday when you were walking through the yard, and then it is just packed out now.
Yeah, that's right. Side streets and driveways as well that may not have gotten taken care of, so watch out for that. Beautiful sunrise there. Charlotte, gorgeous. So you got about 20 more minutes of that. So sunrise official time 7:25. Give it to about 7:20 for really a beautiful sky. Temperatures top out low 30s and then just drop from there. Bitter cold air coming in Thursday and Friday, with some minor accumulating snow as well.
Got a lot to catch up on for this morning's podcast. I kick up a sunrise 9 o'clock on our streaming app and rochesterfirst.com. I have an issue with customer service for one company in particular. I'll explain. Has to do with this phone coming up.
Join us
My
at
new
9.
one. My new one.
Have a great day, guys.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on rochesterfirst.com, Facebook, X, and on our app for news and weather. Get the Rochester First streaming app today for everything you love from News 8 On Demand, plus exclusive shows you won't see anywhere else. Search ROC and download for free on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.